back, everybody. Welcome to the G&G podcast. I am Gato.
And I'm Gabe.
Hello, Gabe.
Hello,
So,
Gato.
so tell me, do you play video games?
Of course. I feel like who doesn't play video games nowadays?
Nowadays, it really seems like everybody plays video games, or somebody has at least played video games once. Um,
Do you remember
it's
the days when it wasn't as accepted? It was like the nerdy thing to do.
yeah, and it was kind of like we were like I mean, I guess the term is still kind of like known, but like closet nerd. Like you
Yeah.
play games, but you don't really go out and tell people or like girls that you play video games because you're gonna be looked down on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
remember
in
those
like
days.
movies and TV shows, they're like, "Oh, you play video games? No, that's a nerdy thing to do." And now it's like you got esports, you got people on ESPN even. They have like League of Legends tournaments and stuff like that.
Wait. ESPN has
Yeah,
video
there
games
was
like it has esports.
they have esports.
What?
And
I
I
mean,
think it was just League of Legends.
I knew esports was a thing, but I thought they had their own network. I didn't know ESPN did esports.
They even there was a point when because of COVID they had NASCAR, virtual NASCAR. So they had like
What?
actual NASCAR drivers at their own homes with their own setups, and you had
What?
like players like actual NASCAR drivers like rage quitting and stuff.
How did I not hear about
How do
this?
you not know this?
How exactly? How did I not know about this?
It was
That
pretty
is
cool though.
amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, did they rage? Like, did you watch any of these?
I just saw clips. I never watched it, but
You saw the
because I
rage
mean
quits?
there's I saw them rage quit like that it was an article posted. I think it was on Kotaku or something, and it was showing like some NASCAR player like rage quitting, and then the NASCAR people were getting upset about it, and it's like they're gonna have to punish him for that. So
What? I
yeah,
mean,
and
that's
imagine on TV you have a stream of NASCAR. I don't know which NASCAR video game they used, but you have video game streaming on ESPN.
that is intense, man. That is so
Right?
funny. It's just it's interesting because if these are like you said these are real drivers, right?
Yeah.
Playing like doing the east with the you know electronic racing, and they're rage quitting. Imagine when they go back to like real racing and they want to
That's the
rage quit.
funny
Like
part. Yeah.
like you can't just rage quit.
No. And there's
So
actual punishment for rage quitting. I think he got fined or something for rage quitting
yeah, I bet he
because they
did.
were treating it as an official event or something. I forgot. Didn't really see the details.
Oh, that's funny. So the first game I ever found out that had big tournaments, and I was actually really in disbelief about it was StarCraft.
StarCraft. Yeah.
And this is before StarCraft 2. This is like I think early 2000s.
Oh, we're talking
Um
like Brood War?
yeah.
StarCraft 1? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm talking about the OG StarCraft. And so the funny thing is that when I was younger, like when I was living in Mexico, we were like my friends and I, like the few friends and I that actually play video games, we would go to like a cyber cafe and we would rent out the whole place. Like we had a deal with the owner because I think the owner also liked video games and like it's business for him, right? But we would rent out all of the computers for like 2 hours, and then we would play StarCraft or Age of Empires, and we actually created our own tournament, and
At the Cyber Cafe.
yeah.
Wow.
So like we organized it all, right? Like and it's not like, wait, how did we do this? I think we did a pool winnings or something like that. So I
How many
think
people showed up?
we had like seven, I think 7 or 8 people. Not that many,
Nice.
but I mean it was a solid group, right?
Yeah, no,
The
that's good.
the the cyber cafe usually, I think they had like 10 computers or something like that. But we would just be like, hey, we want to use all of these, and he'd be like, oh yeah, take it. But we would, yeah, I think it was like 10 pesos, which is about $1, to rent it for an hour. And so we would rent it for 2 hours. So it was relatively cheap. And then we would play. And then to play like within us, we would also put in like 10 pesos. And then so the winner would take all kind of thing.
Nice.
But yeah, we did a lot. We did that like quite a few times and it was super fun. And but then came that wave of like, oh, if you play video games, then you're not cool. You know, you're just a nerd. And and I admit that there was a time when I actually like was kind of like maybe I shouldn't play video games anymore. And you know, like in my life, I've been split evenly with a lot of things. Like I play a lot of sports. And I did a lot of nerdy things because I feel like if you have like a soccer, football jog or basketball jog,
You're
and
designated to that
yeah, like
sports
if for
type of.
somehow
Yeah.
you're not allowed to play video games, right? But
Right.
I
Right.
I did, and but in certain scenarios, I wouldn't mention that I play video games. I would just be like, yeah, I'm gonna play soccer. Or me in high school, I play lacrosse,
You
and I
played
felt like
lacrosse?
in high school, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I felt like I couldn't tell my friends that I was like a big gamer or anything like that. And it was kind of like every now and then I would look for hints, or I would get hints from other players that like would talk about something, you know, about video games, and I'd be like, oh, I can talk to you about video games, you
I
know.
was playing Tetris the other day, like that.
No,
He's a
but like
gamer.
no, I think what there is mentions of Halo because Halo was like very popular
Oh,
then.
you know what? I think that's what started the video game thing. I remember
Halo,
when Halo started becoming really popular, and that's when it started being okay to like play video games because of Halo.
yeah, and you're right because so I would get all those hints from people that played Halo, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you play Halo, so you play video games, and so the conversation would start like, oh, do you play any other games? Do you play other computer games or like Nintendo? I feel
Computer
like
games. That was the word too, which is weird.
yeah, computer games.
Yeah.
Because like again, I was into StarCraft, I was into Age of Empires,
Right.
Diablo 2, like those were the prominent games, and they're like almost like the I feel like the top titles. I think early 2000s maybe there's a couple of RPGs. I think WoW had just come out. World of Warcraft, for those that don't know what WoW is. But
It's that
mostly,
old.
yeah, most of it was either strategy games or RPGs, right? And so little by little, it started to grow. And that's when I found out that there's actually tournaments, like legit tournaments where people made money. And I saw a clip. I don't remember where I saw it, but there's a clip of people playing, and there's like almost like a stadium, like an arena. And I was just like, people do this with video games, and I was like, why didn't I put more time into video games? You know. Uh, but yeah, it was really interesting to see that. And then yeah, Halo was when I started playing Xbox for the first time because I used to not like anything else besides computer and Nintendo. That's actually
Only wow.
yeah,
Xbox.
I was a PlayStation hater, a
Oh.
big time PlayStation hater. Um,
Fighting words right there.
I yeah, seriously, because like okay, so you have Nintendo 64, it comes out
Yeah.
right, and you have like Super Mario, you have Zelda, which is my ultimate favorite game, and like Ocarina of Time, and PlayStation comes out with um oh, what's that game? That game that's like GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Yeah, so you have
Siphon
Golden.
filter.
No. Oh, what was
Uh,
it? Because we had GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, and PlayStation came with a similar game, but it wasn't GoldenEye, and it had like more futuristic um,
I should know
guns.
this.
Come on, I know you know this.
Killzone. Oh shoot. We're talking like PlayStation One, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're
Oh
talking
man,
original PlayStation.
I don't remember like any Medal of Honor. Maybe no, they didn't even
I,
have
f- I
multiplayer.
feel like there was a girl. The girl was the main character.
Ooh, don't know.
Okay. Point is, you get this game that looks just like GoldenEye, and it's on PlayStation. And so I had a couple of friends that had the PlayStation and
Perfect
would play
Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the one.
Sorry.
That's the one. Good job, dude. That's a good memory. Um, yeah, they had that game, and like Yeah, I played it here and there, but I always played it with a little bit of resentment because I was like, this is not GoldenEye.
Fanboy,
Why are we playing
Xbox
this? Like
fanboy.
eventually I became more accepting of PlayStation, but yeah, I was always Nintendo and computer. And then I think it was Xbox 360 came out, and then I jumped on that wagon. And
And then you made the switch to Nintendo now, huh?
uh
See, that's the thing.
yeah.
I would always been PlayStation, never switched.
Were you ever Nintendo?
Mm-mm. There was only one time, and I wanted a Nintendo because back when we lived in New Zealand, we had a Sega Master System, one of the OG ones.
You lived in New Zealand?
You don't know that? Yeah, I was there till I was like 9. Yeah, Middle Earth. Not the real
Wait,
Middle Earth. That's like the southern island of New Zealand, but the North Island.
you lived in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Bro, we got to talk about this on another podcast. No, I had
Tune
no
in
idea.
next week.
Maybe next week. Do you guys want to talk about New Zealand? Leave it in the comments below. Let us know. And while
Yes.
you're down there, go ahead and click that like button. And if you've enjoyed our content, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out our next episodes. If you're listening on Spotify, I don't know if you can like stuff on Spotify, but just come to YouTube and then like our content. No, I'm just kidding. Do
I
whatever
don't
you
know if
want.
Spotify will like that.
Hey, we're a community of love here.
Yes. Yes.
But anyway,
I
no, I,
agree.
I had no idea you lived in New Zealand. But
Yeah. Not a lot of stories though. I don't remember a lot.
how old were you when you moved out of there?
9.
Oh,
So I was kind of young. I had an
okay.
accent, but anyway, another time.
Back to gaming.
So we had a Sega Master System, the old school one where you had cartridges and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and we played that, and we had a friend who had a Nintendo, and it was the old school Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, not Super NES or anything like that, but the NES. And we were jealous of them because they had Super Mario Brothers, and then they eventually got a N64, and so they had like Mortal Kombat and all that stuff,
Mhm.
Super Mario Brothers, and that was or Super Mario 64, so that was pretty fun. So that was the only time I wanted a Nintendo. We never got one. To this
So
day,
you
we've never
just
gotten.
wanted it.
Yeah, but we never got
Wow.
one.
Ah, that hurts, man. What, what did you play before then? Or is that just barely when you started getting into gaming?
We actually got gaming into gaming before our Sega Master System. We were like PC gamers, playing like Command and Conquer, Red Alert, even a
What
little
what
bit of Mortal Kombat on PC.
what was the first video game you remember playing?
Shoot, Warcraft 1,
Really?
the very first one, and it was funny. There was a funny story because, uh, I think we just bought it, and my dad he was playing it at night, and I think we all had to go to bed. And my parents tell me the next day that I woke up in the middle of the night, went to the room, opened the door, and then I just said, "Hey, I said, can I play?" and I and my dad was apparently playing. I don't really remember it, but that's what they told me.
That's what
So
happened.
I
Oh,
think that was
interesting.
my first video game. Then it went to Command and Conquer, then Red Alert, RTSs all the way.
Yeah, that's okay. So I am 5 years younger than my brother and my cousin. Um, and when we were living in California, when I was a little, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, that's when the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo were popular. And I think one of my first memories of video games was when Star Fox came out for Super Nintendo. And it was a big deal because it was the first 3D game. And uh, so they were super excited. They were playing it. And I remember being excited and just sitting there with them. And I would just watch them play a lot. I think I tried playing, but I was so little that I feel like my controller was actually not plugged in. That was
Oh,
probably that was
they pulled it.
honestly that was probably me. Um,
I did that
But
with our kids
really,
when they wanted to play, you just unplug the controller
yeah,
and
I'm
then give it
pretty.
to them and makes it look like they're playing.
Yeah, I've done that too with younger kids. But um, I feel like the first game I got, hmm, I think it was for like Windows 98. Like my family and I went to Costco. Yeah, it was a Costco in Mexico. It's called, I think it was called Price Club back then, or Price Costco. I don't know. And I always enjoyed going to the electronics part. And I remember seeing this big box, and it said like 20 games or something like that for Windows 98. And there, top center in the center was Age of Empires, and next to it was Doom. And then on
Wait, it
the
came
other,
as a
it was a bundle. It was a big bundle game, a big
wow.
bundle box with a bunch of games for Windows 98. I remember that very clearly. But it had Age of Empires, it had Doom, it had Wolfenstein 3. No, yeah, it's just Wolfenstein. It had some weird space game and something else.
Galaga.
I don't know. No, I don't think. Oh, I think it was.
I'm just on a
Anyway,
roll today.
yeah, right. Anyway, so I was like, it wasn't too expensive that I remember, and so I asked my dad if I could get it. He's like, yeah, we'll get it for you. And so that's when I was exposed to Doom and Wolfenstein and Age of Empires, and I was addicted to Age of Empires. Um, and that's when I
So that
started
was your
playing.
Warcraft, huh?
Yeah, Age of Empires is like that's like my childhood right there when it comes to RTS and stuff like that, or computer games.
Good
Um,
choice. Good choice.
and then when the Nintendo 64 was a thing, I got it for our Mexican Christmas, which is,
Wait,
so
what?
we have Christmas in
You have two
December.
Christmases?
Yeah, we do.
Lucky boy.
Right, yeah. So in December we have like normal Christmas, just like we do here. But on January 6th we have Dia de Reyes, which is like the three
Okay.
wise men bringing gifts. And I got it. I got Nintendo 64 with
Dang,
Super Mario and Zelda. That was the best day of my life, is getting
wait a
those games.
second. You can't. Two Christmases? I've never
Mhm.
heard of this before.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
mean, how does that even. Do you have to buy gifts twice?
Well, parents do. So the way I remember it, because the magic for me was gone like when I was younger, like since I was like 9, I think, maybe 10.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's when the magic kind of disappeared for me. Like when I figured out how everything works. But if I remember correctly, for Christmas, oh man, can I talk about this? Do we have any young viewers? If you have a young viewer, plug their ears.
Whoa,
Um,
wait, what? Wait, what's going on
we
right
were just
now?
talking about Christmas, you know. No, so our Christmas we bought gifts for each other, and that was
Okay,
like the known thing.
okay.
So Santa Claus doesn't give us gifts; it's just ourselves. Uh, and then Dia de Reyes, which is on January, um, that's like the actual, that's the magic. So that's our Santa Claus. So,
Oh,
mhm.
interesting. Man,
And
so Santa Claus got the credit for your best day ever. Oh
yep.
man, it's
So
funny. A little tangent. I was talking with Brittany about how we're gonna do Santa Claus, and I think it's a better idea to have Santa Claus give the lesser gift. That way, when the parents are still giving the amazing gift, right? Because you don't want Santa to take all the credit.
so when you mean lesser gift, you mean like candy,
Candy
socks?
or let socks even. I mean, you're not have don't have Santa give like the N64 or the PlayStation or maybe like a new water bottle or I don't know some. I don't know what kids like nowadays. Fortnite stuff. I don't
Fortnite. Can't believe Fortnite's still a thing.
I know that one. I'm surprised it survived this long.
Yeah,
Like
PUBG.
PUBG was the first, right?
Yeah, and
And
I thought it was
now
better.
it kind of died.
Do you think it's weird how like the realistic part of the video game is not as popular as the cartoonish part of it? Like
Which is crazy because I prefer the realistic
I
looking
do
ones.
too. And one of the reasons I like PUBG was because it was more on the realistic side. Like the way it looks, it's more on the realistic side. And then you have Fortnite and you have caricatures for
Yeah.
characters. And then you build walls in like in a weird way. And it's just it's too out of the ways
I
of the
yeah.
world. um
It takes
and
you out of it.
yeah, and I don't like it. Yeah, like it's fantasy. Yeah, I get it. It's a video game. I'm not saying that it's not fun, but it's just weird how like I've noticed that Call of Duty, which was like in my opinion one of the more realistic games when it came to like war stuff, has started to
Realistic looking or realistic?
looking.
Yeah. I can imagine some people commenting, if you want realistic, play Arma. Blah blah
Oh
blah.
yeah. Arma. I
Which I
tried
mean, I'm sure.
Arma.
Yeah,
It
it's
took forever. So
yeah.
it's a little too realistic for me. I like a little quicker gameplay. But like if you notice Call of Duty has adopted some of these things from like Fortnite where like your character, like the soldier that you play as, is not just a random soldier with like your normal camo and helmet and glasses that you can like change colors and like gear in a sense.
Personalized. Yeah.
But now you have like funny looking glasses and you can have like a normal t-shirt and like instead of a helmet you have some funny hat that's super bright. It's like you're never going to see that in real life, right?
That was the problem with Battlefield 5. Uh, with the World War II Battlefield. I don't know if you kept up with that one, but there was like so much drama because in the trailer they had like World War II soldiers. You had women with robot arms and hooks for arms and stuff.
Oh
You're like,
yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah,
heck?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember seeing hooks in World War II, and
And it's actually World War I.
it took you out of it. It was just like, yeah, no, because I agree with you. With like art style is a big thing for me.
Yeah,
Like when I
yeah.
see a trailer and the art style is cartoony, I'm just like taken out. I'm like, not my thing. I'm sure a lot of people love it. I mean, I see people comment saying, "Oh, I love the art style." You know, it's just not my thing.
It's just really the like I agree. Like art style is a big thing for me. Um, but there are games that the artistic part of it is what makes it the game. But I think it really has to. What matters here is like what you're trying to put out. So so as an example, with games like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, or like Battlefield, or like PUBG, stuff like that, like the topic and the way the game has been played, I feel like it's better to give it like that bit of realism and stay with that aesthetic of like, hey, you're a freaking war, dude. Like
You don't shouldn't have
you don't need
banana
Barney.
glasses.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't need that. You're there. And I think that's maybe why Fortnite works, is because Fortnite is not trying to be the realistic. Fortnite is just trying to be a fun game. So I can appreciate that. But then you have games like what are they called? They're the like the Walking Dead ones.
Oh, the Telltale ones,
Yeah, Telltales. So they're what's the word for it? Hyper realistic? No, it's not hyper realistic. It's the opposite of that.
cell shaded, because they
Yeah,
have like that kind of cartoon outline look.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it gives it that comic look. And
Yep.
even though it's a serious topic, the art style, the artistic part of it, like the game is more storyteller slash art, like artistic, versus trying to portray like this is what real life is. And
Yep.
so, does that make sense?
No, yeah, yeah. I
So
agree.
when you have that type of game, like it makes sense that it would be like that. And I actually appreciate that. I'm like, this is a beautiful game because of the way it looks. But when you grab your realistic games and you start adding all these weird cartoonish stuff into it, it just starts to lose
I think
it.
you're touching on consistency. Like if there's a tone set in a game, it has to be consistent with the tone,
Yeah.
right?
And then yeah, if you want to build it up slowly, I think that's okay. If that's where like the evolution of the gaming is going.
Mm-hmm.
But when you just throw it in like that, like Fortnite becomes popular and suddenly all shooter games have battle royale.
Oh, I know.
And
That's
and it
crazy how that.
I,
affected.
to me it was kind of annoying because I'm like, let the battle royale games be battle royale, and then you
Yeah.
stick to your death match and
Yep.
stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going on a whole tangent here about video games. But,
Now look what happened with Battlefield. They tried doing battle royale, Firestorm, and that just flopped. And the
I
trailer looked
bet.
amazing. They did the trailer amazing. Like it was great, but it was just I don't know what happened. It just didn't work out. For some reason, Call of Duty
I
did the same thing, and now yeah, Modern Warfare, Warzone, which is like popular, sort of dying, but then kind of getting popular. I haven't checked the state of Warzone lately.
yeah, I haven't done any of those games
Have you
lately.
played Warzone?
Uh, like twice.
You
Isn't it
didn't like it?
Warzone? I'm gonna get into it. Isn't Warzone where you have the gulag?
Yeah, the Gulag.
Yeah,
That's if you
gulag.
die.
Yeah, so you die and then you do like a gulag, right? Yeah.
You don't have to.
Um. Oh, really?
Yeah, and you
I
just
don't
quit
know.
and then go to the next game or whatever.
Oh, that's the thing is like I think I've only played it like less than an
Yeah.
hour total. I think I had two like 30-minute sessions and
Do you not like Battle Royale?
uh Battle Royale.
Yeah.
I liked it in PUBG, and I I mean we talked about Apex a while ago, and I enjoy it. It's still it's there's still too much going on the screen that I'm still trying to get used to it because I just don't care that much. Like I care, but not that much.
Oh. I think we just showed our age. I feel like games nowadays are just so they're just you can't just be satisfied with health bar, ammo. Like you need so much more now. Like
Yeah, you need all sorts of power ups.
power ups, you need like different types of things because people are getting bored with uh normal, you know? Which
Yeah,
sucks because now you're forcing people to like not forcing, but you're trying to like up the competition all the time. So you're always like trying to add something new element, something new to new dimension of the game, and it gets overwhelming sometimes. I think.
I think that is why I've been slowly getting back into the OG games, and because like I haven't bought a game for Xbox in like 2 years, maybe 3 years, because it's just too much. And then I never owned a PlayStation. I actually really appreciate PlayStation single player games. I think they're fantastic and have great storytelling. But I've been going back to like old school computer games. So like I've been playing a lot of Age of Empires. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2, um, Left 4 Dead, like those games that came out in the early 2000s and late 90s are the games that I'm like more attracted to right now. And in a sense, this is why I'm going back to like Nintendo, because Nintendo, you're right, I am talking consistency. I feel like Nintendo has always had a consistency with their games. So I grew up on Nintendo, like normal Nintendo, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, Game Boy
Game Boy.
Color, Game Boy
Okay, wait.
Advance.
I guess that is an exception. My Nintendo days were Game Boy,
Okay, so
Game
you
Boy
you have those.
Color, Game Boy Advance, and then stopped at Advance. Never got the SP. Oh, actually, I
SP?
got DS.
No,
I did get the DS.
DS.
Yep.
I have the DS. I
But it
still
was
have it.
hacked. I played so many games on the DS. Like even the Brain Age games, those are fun.
Yeah, I played those as well, actually. Um, yeah, and then I got the Nintendo Wii. And when the Nintendo Wii came out, that's when like Xbox was coming with like all these like realistic games, like new graphics and stuff like that. And the Nintendo
Gears
Wii
of
was
War, yeah.
the Nintendo was sticking with like their typical cartoonish video games. And so I remember being a little upset about that because I'm like, oh, I like the realism. Why isn't Nintendo coming up with realistic looking games? They're still doing Mario Brothers, and Mario still looks the same as he always has, just like redefined.
More
Um,
polygons, more.
even Zelda, I think Twilight Princess came out, and yeah, it had like some realism added to it, but it still looked like a cartoon, just more 3D and just more
Is that
polished.
when Link looked less like a kid?
Yeah.
Like he looked more like a teenager,
Yeah,
or is that
yeah,
okay? I
yeah,
do remember that one.
yeah. He turns into a wolf.
Uh,
Maybe you're thinking of Skyward Sword,
oh yeah.
or maybe you're thinking of Wind
I don't
Waker.
know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know. Wind Waker was the one where he looked like more like a
That's
chibi type,
yeah. Wind
right?
Waker was
Yeah.
like full on like cartoon looking, which I at first didn't like, but later on I realized, oh, it's about the artistic part of it and the storytelling, and not about making it look realistic, you know. Um, but yeah, I was actually upset with Nintendo because I was like, Xbox and PlayStation are bringing out all these cool looking games, but Nintendo's still coming out with unrealistic looking games. But
Kid
the
like
thing,
kiddish looking.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I had more fun playing the Nintendo games than I did playing all the other ones. I feel like the fun that I or the satisfaction I get from playing Nintendo games lasts a lot longer than playing like when Battlefield 3 came out. Like I beat the campaign and I played multiplayer for 2 months and I was like, all right, I'm bored. But Nintendo, I could go back to Nintendo and play, the tennis or Mario Kart or Smash Brothers, and I just don't get bored of it. Like I could just play it over and over and over again.
That's interesting. No, I think I yeah. I think it's because I could imagine, yes, realistic games, I think they appeal to the visual, but then you're limited to the realism, and that can only go so far. Opposed to fantasy, where it looks more kiddish, you can go a little further, which adds more replayability, I think. Because I do get bored with shooters sometimes
Yeah.
because it's the same thing over and over. But like with RPGs, there's a lot more you can do, and I guess there are realistic looking RPGs, and that's but never got into those ones. I don't know. That's interesting.
Well, the funny thing is you have games. Okay, so let me talk about Diablo 2 again. Diablo
Mm.
2 is not a long game. Like if you've ever played it through it, you can probably beat the game in one day. Like honestly, you could. Like if you start early morning by like 11 or midnight, you could be done with the game.
Dang.
And I can say that confidently because I beat the first campaign or Act 1 in
Yeah.
like 2 hours. And because
Dang.
because we know what we're doing, like we know where to go, we know what we're looking for, we know what we need to get and not get. And so the funny thing is that even though we know the story, we know how it begins, how it ends, uh you can play it over and over again. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't get tired of it. I really enjoy playing the game. Same thing with Zelda. Zelda is a more linear game than Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is more, well, you can have different weapons, you can have different armor, you can have the map changes every time you play it. And so I think that also keeps it a little bit fresh for me. And I enjoy playing it because I'm like, well, this time I'm going to try making it faster, or this time I'm going to take my time and make sure that I'm like the most powerful, you know, warrior. And that's what makes it fun for me. With Zelda, even though it's like very linear, I still enjoy playing the game. I can't explain that honestly.
Wait, question. So here's my question. Did you play Diablo 3?
Yes, I hated it.
Why though? It's pretty much the same game.
uh
I
me
mean, there's some nuances, but and there's some things they changed, but it had the
so
same idea of loot, randomized dungeons.
I feel like it didn't. I mean, I think you just answered the question. It's the same thing. So why get a brand new game when the storyline and the gameplay is literally the same thing? You just kind of upped the graphics, and even then, the graphics weren't, in my opinion, they weren't that great. I still prefer the Diablo 2 look. Um,
So you were playing purely through aesthetics in Diablo 2 versus Diablo 3?
no, not purely aesthetics. I enjoy the storyline. Um, I think Diablo 2 is a little bit cleaner because Diablo 3 became a little too bright and loud for me. Um, like when you have like all these spells going on, and then you have all these ghouls and undead people coming at you, and everybody has powers, and you have all these flashes going on all over the place. It's too much. And I'm like, what is even happening? I just can't get into it. And when you play Diablo 2, like, yeah, there's explosions, there's spells and whatnot, but it's a little more,
Less chaotic.
yeah. And so I like that. I like that
Hmm.
it's just not as chaotic. It makes sense. It's not overly complicated where like I don't know. I don't know really how to explain it. I
No,
just
I've always wondered about this because with the new Diablo 2 remaster coming out, I wonder if and they're claiming that it's the exact same game, just with up 4K and some like life of improvements. And I wonder if it's gonna be the same because now you have higher res games. I feel like there's a distinction between when games were PS1 and they were low res, you use your imagination more. And so with like upscaled, you're like, oh, it doesn't look as good as the first one. Take for example like StarCraft 1 and the remaster,
mhm.
and it was just upscaled stuff, but people still preferred the old one because of the low res look. Like I wonder if it's gonna be the same thing with Diablo 2, where you liked it aesthetically because it was lower res and you used your imagination more. You know,
That's a good question.
like I'd be curious when the second one comes out and you
I'll
play
be,
and you're
I'll
like,
be curious because with StarCraft, I get it. I still play the original StarCraft. But funny enough, I do play StarCraft 2 and I do like it, despite it being like
3D and
in 3D and everything like that. It's still, in my opinion, is still not as loud as Diablo 3 to Diablo 2, right?
yeah,
Now with Diablo 2, what's it called? Reborn? Is it Reborn?
resurrection,
Resurrected,
I think.
Resurrection.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I've seen the gameplay for it, and it looks really nice. And when they keep, because you're able to go back and forth between the original look and the new look,
Yep.
it to me it does look more uh, aesthetically pleasing, right? Um, and so I think I'm gonna like it. I guess we'll find out when the game actually comes out and I'll be able to play. But I can tell you that with Age of Empires, they also have a definitive edition where
Oh
it's
yeah,
all,
even that. Yeah.
it's very clear. They added a couple of special effects on it. So, in the original Age of Empires, when you destroy a building, like it's on fire, and then it suddenly just becomes like a bunch of rubble.
Rubble. Yep.
And the new,
Disappears.
yeah, in the new Age of Empires, when you destroy a building, you actually see the building collapsing and then become rubble.
No
And
way. What? I
yeah,
haven't
it,
seen footage of that.
but the mechanics of the game, the look of the game, everything about it is exactly the same. It's just high resolution. And I actually really enjoyed that. I didn't think I would. Otherwise, I wouldn't have spent $15 on it. But but I was playing the original one, and then I saw gameplay of the new one. And I'm like, whoa, this is like a completely different game. Almost, it's the same, but it looks better. And so I did spend the money. I've been playing the definitive edition. It has new campaigns and everything. It's really fun.
Hmm.
But I do enjoy the visual upgrades on that game. So I'm excited to try Diablo 2. I'm excited to play it again in higher resolution. Um,
Isn't it weird we're in a situation now, games, people can just upgrade the graphics and resell you the same game?
yeah, it's a little annoying actually, but
I never bought the Command and Conquer remaster. It looked great, but I mean, I don't even play Command and Conquer anymore. So it's like, I'm glad I'm not being targeted to that, because for me, once I play a game and have experienced it, I don't need to experience it again. Maybe Last of Us, that's an exception.
there's some games that I'm happy to play again, and there's some games that I'm like, I played it one time through and I'm good. Like the memory of the game is enough. And who knows, maybe in 10 years I'll go back to it, because I feel like that's what's happening to me right now, is all these remasters are playing with my nostalgia and just bring me back to when I was a kid and nothing mattered. But how am I going to get the necessary weapons to kill Diablo,
I'll admit, when I
Um,
played Diablo 3, beat it, and then I stopped.
yeah,
Like I
you don't
just
want to play it
lost
again.
interest.
Yeah. That's one of the things I've heard that from everybody that's played Diablo 3 is like, yeah, it's a fun game and I played it through and I beat it and that's it. I haven't played it since. And same thing with me. I played it once. Actually, I've played it twice. The first time I played it through, like I spent or I bought the collector's edition because I mean I was into that, not anymore, but I bought the collector's edition. It comes with all these booklets and extras and
Strategy
stuff.
guides. Did it get him with a statue?
I I honestly don't remember. But it comes with all this stuff, and I'm playing this game. It's not as immersive as Diablo 2 was. I feel like it was also just I don't know, it just wasn't as captivating. And then I killed Diablo, and then I was like, cool, I beat it. I don't feel the satisfaction I felt when I killed Diablo in Diablo 2.
Now I'm wondering, is it because it was back in the day, or was it the game itself? Like, I wonder if it's because now we're grown up, we can kind of see the illusion, we can see the behind the scenes. We played through the game, you beat it, and you're like, wow, I just do that all over again. But then when you're younger playing Diablo 2, you have the thought, oh, I can do this again. That's awesome. You know? Like, it's crazy because Metal Gear Solid 2,
Yeah.
loved that game. It's weird because the first one was probably the better one because it actually has Solid Snake in it. But the second one, played it to the max. Did all the difficulties, and I had, got all the dog tags or whatever. And I think it's because I had time. And it was like, had all this time to spend, and it was fun spending it now. But I wonder because now I'm older, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play the game over and over again. But, and I don't know if it's because it's a time difference. I don't know.
I think it has uh oh, that felt good. I feel like it does play a part in our logic as grown-ups because you're right, we don't have just all the time of the day. Uh, but at the same time, if that's true, then why would I go back and play Diablo 2 over and
That is
over
true.
again?
That's what's the uh the difference, the
Like
weirdness
why
of it.
why am I willing to play Diablo 2 so many more times versus like playing Diablo 3? Like if you ask me right now, like, hey, do you want to play Diablo 3? I'm gonna say no. But if you say like, hey, do you want to play Diablo 2? I'd be like, yeah, let's get on. And I don't know. I don't know if it's still playing with my nostalgia or if it in reality is just a better game and it's just more immersive despite us knowing what the story is and how everything works. Um on in both games, like
Yeah.
I that's something that I really can't explain right now. But yeah, I just don't
It's
want to
no,
play
because I
Diablo
remember
3.
I did play Diablo 2, and I picked the sorcerer or sorceress. Yeah. So I had all the cool skills like the firewalk and also a secret cow level, and I remember doing all that stuff. It was fun, but and then I beat it, and then I think just time changed, and I just I played something else.
When did
But
you
if
play Diablo 2?
oh man, it was like 2000, maybe 3 or 2, a long time ago, back when it came out, like
Okay.
when it came out. So it was fun, and I don't know why I never had the option to play it again. I probably would have, but I don't. That's the thing. I don't know. I just don't know.
Do you
But then
remember?
once again, I don't know if it goes back to us being older, like kids watching Aladdin back to back because of the excitement. As adults, you'll be like, no, no way. I'm not gonna watch that movie again.
Dude, I watched Inception back to back
Wow, in
in
theaters.
the theaters. Yeah, I went with friends, and then my dad also wanted to watch it. So I'm like, my friends were able to go in the morning, and my dad wanted to go after work. So I was like, well, if I go at 11 with my friends, the movie comes out at 2, and then the other movies at 2:30, and I'll just stay in the theater. My dad will get there, and then we'll just watch it. And I did that. I was blown both times, but I don't want to do that again. I don't think I would want to watch the same movie back to back for
I did
any
that. I
reason.
sort of did that with Tenet. Watched it on Blu-ray or Blu-ray, or no, not Blu-ray, 8 Ultra HD.
Okay.
Couple days later, weeks later, then watched again. I have my rule where I don't watch a movie more than once per year because I feel like it's a waste of time to watch a movie more than once in your
Yeah.
lifetime. But for some reason, Tenet,
Sometimes.
Christopher
Sometimes.
Nolan films are just, I don't know. I did that with Inception too. I watched it twice in
Ooh.
theaters.
Ooh, this is a good topic. We'll have to. Well, what movies do you want us to talk about? Tell us your favorite movies, and we'll talk about this next time.
Yes.
But yeah, movies. That's a whole other topic because that's what you and I are into. That's what we've done. But back to like Nintendo,
Okay.
and here is why I think Nintendo is still that I think Nintendo is the best console in general, and for me personally as well. And the
Okay.
reason why is because despite their games being not the realistic type, their focus is on uh at least that's what I feel. I feel like their focus is more on the story and more on like bringing,
Gameplay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just more for the fun factors. Like, hey, this is the video game. This is what you got to do it and have fun. Um, with the Nintendo Switch, I don't have that many games. I have Mario Party, I have Mario Kart, I have Zelda Breath of the Wild, and a couple of other extra games. But these are games that I can play over and over again. I can play by myself and I have fun, and I can play with friends and I have fun. Um, Even Zelda, it was a game that I'm able to play and people can watch, and it's still immersive for the people watching because it's. I mean, you've seen Zelda Breath of the Wild, right? Like you've seen what it looks like.
Yeah. 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 Game clips. Yep.
Okay, I think it's a piece of art. I think Zelda is such a beautifully made game where like the landscapes of it are amazing, and I think it's really cool that you're able to go anywhere, literally anywhere where you can see you can go to, whereas other games you can't. Like they have their invisible blocks. It's like, no, you can't go up this wall. In Zelda you can. There's so much to do, so much to explore. So what's wrong with taking the back street? Get that reference?
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly.
If you like that reference, give us a big thumbs up. Okay, anyway, um, it's just such a fun game, and I think it's so immersive, and I can always go back to Zelda, and I will have a good time playing it. Um, but you give me Battlefield 5, which I actually really enjoyed the gameplay on that. You, I lose interest rather quickly, and same thing with like a lot of the newer games. Um, Plus, PlayStation and Xbox, I feel like they're pushing a lot of their games into like single player only or no split screen. Whereas Nintendo, a lot of their games are designed to have people with you. And I actually really like that. I enjoy having somebody next to me rather than talking over the microphone, stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I'm just saying for certain games, I think it's good to be with someone next to you. I feel like it brings that um, bonding moment, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
games like Smash
Co-op.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and co-op too. But there's something added to that, versus having to do everything in an empty room when you're alone.
And I think that's why Twitch and the whole streaming thing is a big thing, because when people are streaming their games, it's as if they're playing with other people, like the whole couch experience. And I think
Mhm.
there's why there's a big appeal to even just watching it, because you feel like you're part of the experience. And I think, I mean, I love PlayStation games. I'm a PlayStation fan because of the stories, the games that they have there. Really good stories. Like, I still want to try God of War 3, which I heard is like one of the best ones. And I guess the other ones are good as well. Last of Us, and yeah, well, these other good story-based games. And then there's moments when I'm playing and man, it would be fun, to play with Brittany. But the only way she can is just to watch. And they do have co-op games, PlayStation. But if you wanted to have that co-op experience playing together, I feel like even Nintendo would be good. Like, that would be my reason to get like a Nintendo, a Wii, or even what is it? Wii U? I don't even know.
Well, no, well, right now it's the Nintendo Switch.
Switch.
We use old.
Like that, because of that aspect of, playing with other people. So, ugh, I don't know. I feel like my game tastes are switching to like co-op participation with other people type games.
Yeah. Do you have the PlayStation 5?
No way.
Are you gonna
sold
get it?
out, man. Yeah, eventually when it's used. Maybe when PS6 comes out.
Do you own any Xboxes?
Never owned one. Never
Actually,
ever owned.
I feel like I remember this. I think I
Huh.
remember you saying that you've never had an Xbox before.
In our very, very first podcast.
Yeah, but
Our
also
unrecorded podcast.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did have that. Huh. Bummer that's never coming to light.
Yep.
Do you have any Nintendos? Besides the Game Boy, did you ever own any other Nintendos?
Nope.
So
Never
you are strictly Sony,
PlayStation. Yep. And PC.
and PC. Whereas, I mean, I've had Xbox 360 and Xbox One and Xbox One S, but I stopped using my Xbox for video games, and now I use it as a streaming service and Blu-ray 4K players. So, because there's no games on Xbox that I'm interested in. The only Xbox game that I want to play is Halo, but the new Halo hasn't come out. I think it was just barely announced. I don't know when it's going to come out.
Wait, you have the Xbox One?
Xbox
One S? Dang, and
No,
you
no, no,
use
no.
it as streaming service.
No, wait. Yeah, the one
360? I don't know. One S?
No. Yeah,
the fridge-looking one, right?
No. No. That's the Xbox X.
Oh, okay.
X series. That's what it's called.
Okay,
X series.
got it.
I don't have the new as the latest. I have the S, and I won't get the X series until the new Halo comes out.
Because then I don't. Going back to the whole realistic, Halo didn't appeal to me.
Halo never appealed to you?
Yeah, because of the laser guns and stuff like that. That's why I never like the futuristic Call of Duty didn't appeal to me. Like for me, it has to be grounded reality. That's like I'm using grounded loosely because
Right. Wait.
I don't know. I just fantasy stuff just doesn't appeal to me as much.
Wait,
besides Final Fantasy, it's weird. I don't know.
Except the one that has the actual word fantasy.
Yeah, the word fantasy.
Are you saying you don't like Star Wars? What?
No, I like Star Wars. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, see, but
it's
Star
good.
Wars is like
listen to the pitch of my voice. It's good.
Bruh. Okay, but are we talking about Star Wars games, or are we talking about Star Wars movies, or Star Wars in general?
Movies are fine. I will take whatever. I love sci-fi in movies.
Okay.
Gaming though is a whole different thing. I did play Battlefront. That was fun.
Yeah,
I got bored of it though.
You're bored of it?
But that was the first one. I never played the second one. I have it downloaded because it was like on sale.
Yeah, it was free for a while.
Never installed it.
Oh, you should. We should play it sometime.
I know.
It's actually a really fun game. Like
I've watched videos and it looks very fun.
I've been a Star Wars fan for a long time, and the Star Wars fan in me has been coming out a lot lately, especially with like The Mandalorian and all the new shows coming out. Not the sequel movies; those ones suck. Fight me.
Wait, prequel or sequel?
Sequels.
Oh, we have a prequel fan here, huh?
I am not a fan either, but I accept the storyline. The sequels, the sequels are they look really good. I accept the characters. I do not accept the storyline. The storyline was garbage.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Fight me.
It's pretty bad. No, I agree. Like I'm
talking to our
I just
viewers.
read a lot of Reddit stuff, and people are just. And I've watched so many like video essays on it. and how like it got ruined because of like canon and all that stuff, and because of the
let,
whole
let,
like,
let me
huh,
connect this. Let me connect one of the reasons why I don't like this the second sequel. What's it called?
hmm, TLJ,
The the Last Jedi.
the new Jet, the
The
Last Jedi. Yeah.
Last Jedi. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna connect this to some of the video games and why I don't like it.
Okay.
Storyline is extremely important to me. I feel, and I think that that's one of the major points for me liking something.
Okay.
Um, Character development is a big thing. Character arc is a big thing. All of those things are very important to me. When Star Wars is presented, you have a universe where their rules make sense, and the things that you've seen so far
Mm-hmm.
make sense, and they're in par with each other. So you never see something like just you know out of place. When
Yes.
the Last Jedi came out and they introduced this whole new things of powers that the Jedi have that we never hear about until suddenly, oh, actually, they can do this. It makes no sense. There's no build up to it. If there was like some sort of explanation that leads to it, I think I would have been okay with it. But the fact that you don't know what exists and then they just throw it at you like it's some sort of godly power, it takes me out of the movie. Um, Another thing that also took me out of it, and I don't think this is too controversial, and maybe this is just me being a little extremely picky about it, but in The Force Awakens and I think it's in not in The Last Jedi, but the last one, The Rise of Skywalker,
Yeah.
they use an earthly phrase, um,
Oh,
which doesn't make sense in the Star Wars universe because
wait, what was the phrase?
uh, I think, oh shoot, it's Finn that says it. But it brings relation to like
Mm,
heaven and hell, basically. And so,
that's
according to
okay.
the original trilogy and the prequels, you don't really talk about heaven and hell. They're, I'm sure they have their own, but you don't speak. They don't speak of them the way in real life we talk about them, right?
Yeah.
But they had a couple of lines in those movies that where they mention it, and it's just kind of like, wait, like if they're saying
That
that
means they're
that
aware of the earth.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I see what you
it
mean.
it means that they know what earth is and they believe in Christian beliefs. And that pulled me so hard out of the movie that I was like, that makes no sense. Why would they say
Oh
that
man.
that phrase should not exist in the Star Wars universe? Now, I'm not hating against religion. I'm not hating against like the franchise in general. I'm just saying it
Consistency.
doesn't the consistency. It just makes no sense.
Yes.
Same way, video games, when they just throw something completely out of place into it and it makes no sense, that's when the game becomes sucky to me.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like all these new games that are like trying to be the same game and they're adding things that are not realistic within their own universe, they make no sense to me. And that's why I keep going back to like the good old games where it's all consistent, like you said.
Hmm.
There,
Interesting.
rant over.
That seems to be the theme of this podcast. Consistency.
And me ranting about it. But
Perfect.
yeah, that's those are my thoughts on that. And now you know why I don't like the sequels.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, or if you liked what we talk about, or you want to let us know what to talk about next podcast, let us know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell as well.
Stay up to date with our content.
Yes.
And
All
yeah, we
right.
appreciate you all. Appreciate those watching on YouTube. Appreciate those listening on podcasts. Sorry, on podcasts on Spotify or Apple or Google Podcasts or whatever you're listening on. Thank you thank you for
Thank you.
listening to us. Um, let us know what you think of this. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll think about it.
All right. We will catch you next time.
Bye.